Well, one of our users has asked for some help on line weights. What I've done here is put the little summary from our user guide. So we suggest that when drafting, leave in the properties box format line weight set to the default value. So line weight over here, if you look in the box, is set to default. So if we go format line weight, you can see here our default value is 0.25 of a millimetre, or if we change that to inches, 0.01. Let's come back to millimetres. We can change that, but leave it without bothering to alter it. So if you then draft with line weight set to default, all the entities you put in the design will have default thickness signed automatically. At the end of the job, select entities in the design that need extra emphasis. Now in this case, the building layouts. So if I select the polyline that denotes that shed, I've set the line weight to by layer. I could have set it to whatever thickness I want, but I've chosen, as you'll see in a moment why, to set it by layer. So if I come over here, it's on a layer called buildings, and if we look at the buildings layer, I've set it to 0.35. I've also set the paving layer also to 0.3, but a layer called paving singular is set to 0.13. So I'm controlling line weight there by the layer that I put it on. That can be a bit tedious, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with, let's pick that polyline again, nothing wrong at all with saying I'm going to set my line weight to 0.3, and then you can have the outline of the shed on any layer you like. You don't need to go through this process of creating different layers, assigning line weights and putting them on. You can just, and you do that in this case. Let's put it back onto layer 0. You probably do that. Notice that the color has changed. That's a quick and easy way. You just change the few properties that you're interested in. Let's turn off the construction layer and the symbol layer to make life a little cleaner. And let's have a look at the effect over here. So can you see as I zoom in, the hatching layer through there is a fine line and the outer line is much thicker. I can see a little drafting error there. See how the corner of the shed should be in fact on the boundary, but I digress. Let's come back here. So in my case, at the end of the job, I've selected entities in the design that needed extra emphasis, and I'd move them to a layer, and I've set thickness via the properties box. A little bit of an overkill, and you don't need necessarily, certainly in a simple drawing like this, to go down that route. If you need to print on markedly different sheets, definitely helps to have them on a separate layer, because then you can set the thickness of the layer according to the sheet that you want to print on. So don't forget to adjust the thickness in your title block such as they work well. This is on an A3 sheet. Let me just zoom extents, and here's the title block. And as we zoom in, you may be able to see that the line around the title block has been adjusted appropriately. Don't forget you need to turn on the line weight switch in order to see line weights showing. So we've got the emphasis on the house and the emphasis on the path. All the outer lines are set at 0.35, which is the default line thickness. I hope that helps just a little in understanding line weights. The simplest approach is just draw. Don't change anything, just draw, and then select those few entities that you want to give emphasis to and set their line weight without worrying about layers. But if you're going to use multiple drawing sheets of different sizes, then it's useful to put those same entities onto different layers. It also helps, of course, when you're modeling and drawing to, here I'm experimenting with changing the line type pattern of the paving under this sort of adult entertaining area here. So it can help then to have things on different layers, and I've been able to strip off all of the planting detail just by clicking here, and we had those on a separate layer. So I hope you can see that there are changes that you can ring, but keep it simple is the best advice.